Waiting for YouTube and Twitch to start. Okay, there's Twitch. Good morning. YouTube, where you at? It says waiting for Kaggle. Stream has started. Twitch is going. So YouTube should start at any moment now, right? Jer says hello. Hello, Jer. There we go. Okay, excellent. Good morning, everybody. It's that little bit of a lag. And let me pause the video so I'm not listening to myself with a little bit of a repeat, because that is really frustrating. Hello. Okay, so today I'm going to answer a question that somebody posed on Kaggle Noobs, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's a Slack channel. Anybody can join. The link is online somewhere. Good morning. And somebody asked, is it easier to become a kernels expert now or before? So basically when we first launched kernels, so they were originally, a little bit of history here. So kernels were originally launched as scripts. When they were first launched, so it was just like a flat code file you could run. When we first launched, we only had R. We added Python later. And then we made Python the default, which is I think one of the reasons why Python is more popular on Kaggle now than R. And when we first gave people the ability to share them, make them public, there were obviously very few scripts. So more people would see each individual script. And we still had the progression system. So if you're not familiar with the progression system, oh, no, not the image. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to go to open link a new tab. So if you're not familiar with the progression system, we have 3 progression systems. One for, Jagadish said Julia also at the beginning. Yeah, we did used to do Julia. And MySQL, I think, like way long ago, years and years ago, before I started. And the progression system is competitions, kernels, and then discussions. And so discussions and kernels you get for having upvotes. So I believe I think it's all here. So for it doesn't have them here. Here we go. So for kernels, you get a bronze vote. Demelia says, what are kernels? So kernels are, on Kaggle, our hosted coding environment. And you can also use it to share your code. So here's code that a bunch of different people have written. You can tell that these are for competitions because they have competition scores. Some of them are in Python, some of them are in R. This is R Markdown. And people can look at other people's kernels. You could fork it. If somebody wrote code that was useful for you and what you're doing, you can fork it and then use it for your own purposes. All public kernels on Kaggle are licensed under Apache 2.0, so they're all open sourced and have a license that allows you to reuse them. Oh, good, this was fixed. Yeah, that's what kernels are. So it's a way to write code, to run code on kernel, on Kaggle. So it runs on our servers, not on your local computer, which is why we can offer things like GPU access. And then also a way to share your analyses with other people. So you can use it like a blog or a portfolio. And this is a good kernel, so I'm going to give it a little upvote. If 5 non-novices, so right now I'm pretty sure that I am a novice on this account. So hi from Brazil. Hello. So votes by novices don't count, but if people are above the novice level, and it's not your own vote, and it's not a vote on a really old post, so basically the value of vote decays over time. And then we also have some other things. We have, basically there's a lot of anti-abuse measures in place to make sure that people aren't able to game the system and like it means something when you're a kernels master. So 20 votes for silver and 50 votes for gold. And then to reach the different levels, you need 15 gold medals to be a kernels grandmaster, 10 silver medals to be a master, 5 bronze medals to be an expert, and then to be a contributor, you just need to have done all of these steps. Italy, Kenya, hello everybody. Welcome. We're a global community. So that's the background. My intuition is that it used to be easier to get upvotes on any single kernel because fewer kernels were being published. So even though there were fewer people on the site, and remember for upvotes specifically, it has to be non-novice users. And the number of non-novice users has grown slower than the number of novice users, just because, I mean, the way that, the population growth is, you get a lot of beginners and like fewer people who progress to intermediate and fewer people who continue to progress until you get to sort of, grandmaster status. I am so close to being a grandmaster on my admin account. So close. It's fine. I don't care that much. I care a lot. I think I have 12 or 13 kernels with the gold medal right now. Anyway, I'm very susceptible to gamification. And yeah, you can see I'm a novice here. I'm not a contributor, so my votes don't actually count for anything besides making y'all feel good. I should go through and finish all the steps so that I can be a contributor. Yeah, so the question that was asked on Kaggle Noobs, which is this public Slack channel, is it easier to become, get rid of this, so you have more screen real estate, is it easier to become a grandmaster or an expert, or basically get votes on your kernels now, or was it easier in the past? And my intuition is that it was easier in the past, and the intuition of the other people on the channel is that it's easier now, and that's an empirical question, right? That's something that we can answer with the data, and we have the data to answer that. And I'm hoping, actually, I haven't worked on this at all, I am hoping that we can, oh, hey, there's me. I'm hoping that we can find somebody who's done something similar, and then we can just do a little bit of, reuse of their code, so I don't have to rewrite this all by hand. So master tier, that sounds useful. It says R Markdown. One or more deleted data sets. Oh, that's right. It's because the data set is updated constantly. And we do delete the old versions instead of keeping them around for basically data privacy reasons, because it does contain user data. And so if you delete your data, it's also deleted from the data set, then the version of the data set that had it is also deleted. So we're watching out for y'all. Kaggle Hall of Fame, that sounds promising. Let me get rid of all these. I don't need these. So I'm looking for basically a kernel where someone has already done the thing that I am looking for. So these are people who have all been #1 in competitions, I think. Highest ranking, current ranking, SQLite 3. I don't think this data set is SQLite anymore. I think it is, I think it's just a CSV data. All right, Meta Kaggle competition shakeup. So looking for a medals, that could be helpful. Basically somebody who has done most of the analysis for us. So competitions, scripts, projects. I'm from Brazil. We don't talk. Sorry, I studied French, and like sometimes I can get like some stuff out of Brazilian jeepers, Portuguese. But not today. 2 best public scripts. Medals from submitting to best public script. Scripties rank. Okay, so this looks like Okay, so this is for script versions. But these are competition medals. Okay, so what they're saying, okay, so this is looking at if you take a popular script that someone has uploaded, where does it get you on the leaderboard, and in no place does it get you a bronze medal. So these medals are actually medals from a competition placing and not from kernels upvotes. Oh, here we go. So here is some analysis that gets you the number of upvotes counted for a medal. Okay, and then this is, all right, so this is, you have to give it a list of kernels that you want to look at. Oh, this is helpful. So this is if you want to check how many upvotes your kernels have gotten and where they are in terms of the sizing on this is not super great. I think oh, there we go. I don't know what this last title is. Remained upvotes gold. Oh, okay, so this is how many upvotes you need more to get gold. So this could be helpful, but it looks like it's only looking at a specific set of kernels. The hop said, schedule of live coding. So I'm trying some new things. I think for now it's going to be 9 a.m. on Fridays, so in this time slot, because it seems like this tends to work well for folks. This is another one that's from when this was a SQLite dataset, so that's not going to be super helpful for us. Let's see, popular Kaggulers on the dataset analysis, that might be helpful. Gold medals, that seems helpful, although I know this is CPMP and he does a lot of competitions things. Yeah, so it looks like he's trying to find the users that have the most gold medals, so that's not super helpful for us. Okay. Let's see. Oh, so this is on, this is actually on data sets that have been uploaded, it looks like. So, okay, and this is the data sets downloaded. So this is, this might be very helpful because this is number of upvotes and downloads. And, oh, hey, that's me. Hey, people like my data sets. That's nice. Sadyam says, is there any kernel on machine learning embedded within Django work? Probably, there might be. You can't serve apps from within kernels, or you shouldn't serve apps from within kernels, even if you can find a workaround, because they, I wouldn't recommend it. So you might find some sample code, but it won't necessarily run. Okay, so this is about data sets, but we might be able to modify this code to get it to work for what am I saying? We might be able to modify it to get it to work for kernels. All right. Hello from India. Hello. Yeah, I also, the Answer Live says, I doubt that would be in a kernel. Me as well. I would probably look on GitHub for that. Oh, here we go. This seems extremely helpful. How to get upvotes for a kernel on Kaggle. Started to create public kernels, and they're looking at kernels with no upvotes. Okay, so is this for everybody, or is this just for this user? Number of views and comments affect the number of votes. It looks like there's a pretty strong correlation between number of comments and number of votes, stronger than views and votes. So if people are commenting, they're probably also upvoting. Or I would actually say if I comment on a kernel, I'm like, hey, nice job. I will probably also say, probably also leave them an upvote. All right, so I think this is the kernel that we're going to use to work from. So let me give an upvote, although I guess I need to be a contributor so that my upvotes will actually work in the future. or at least be counted towards metals. Not that they don't work. Okay. Sorry, I'm still sick. I'm in the stage of sick where I'm just super tired of being sick. And so I keep convincing myself I'm better and then trying to do something and then like completely wiping myself out and needing to take a 3-hour nap. Okay. So we have imported a bunch of libraries. Let's keep this. This is super helpful, but I'm just going to get rid of it because it's not super, it's super helpful in the original analysis, but I'm going to get rid of it because it's not super useful to us. Reading in a bunch of data sets. And then here we have total kernels, total public kernels, number of kernels with upvotes, number of kernels with any metals, number of public kernels with no upvotes, private kernels, number of upvoted but not awarded. So these are kernels that have upvotes but no medals, I think so. Fabiana says, I'm sick too. Yeah, it's that season. And she says, I'm happy we're looking at Python kernels today. We'll look at both, you know. We did look at some R code as well. I use Python and R, and I think they're both good. Okay, and then, matplotlib, my least favorite Python library. No, that's not fair. I do actually use it, but my least favorite Python library is probably one I never use at all. And I can't think of a good example because I don't use it. Probably something to do with static typing. I don't really care that much about static typing, and I know the software engineers out there are like, oh, static typing is so important. How could you not care about static typing? It's just not as relevant for me and my line of work. And then this is going to print a bunch of stuff out that we don't actually need, but I think it's helpful to get these variables because I think we'll probably use them in the future. And then a plot of statistics for number of kernels. So we can see that most kernels get no upvote. So one thing that we can do is, the answer to life says, why are we defining the variable name in the formatted string rather than just there's only one in the string. Oh, you mean here. The format. I don't know why this person chose to do that. I would probably use F strings here, personally, just because I think they're particularly efficient, and also one of my friends is the developers on the F string package, Marietta. I don't think that's actually a package. I think it's in base Python now. But it's nice. She says, that's not fair. We love Matplotlib and Seaborn. I tolerate them. I tend to prefer libraries that have that are based on the grammar of graphics, which neither of those are especially. Matplotlib is based on the MATLAB MATLAB plotting interface, which I have like flashbacks from. So not my favorite, personally. Okay, so I noticed previously that this author imported datetime, and I am wondering where they used it. All right, so they are using it days from registration, days from kernel creation. Oh, this is nice. I didn't even realize that they'd done this. This might have been hidden, so they're hidden. It might have been hidden, so they're using doing a lot of feature engineering here. They're adding a lot of information, and then they're trying to build an XGBoost model. Okay, that's pretty cool, but that's not super. It's not the main thing that I'm interested in. It looks like this kernel has gone through multiple versions, so that's pretty interesting. Let me actually open the original in another to get upvotes. Let me actually open the original kernel in another page, because I think that would be helpful for us to refer back to, since I'm going to delete a lot of this code. And if we go down to, do they do feature importance from the XGBoost model? They do have feature importance. I personally really prefer the feature importance from, let's just open this in a new tab so we can read it good. I personally prefer feature importance from version number. Seems to be pretty important. Oh, and that tracks with what I've looked at previously. For data sets, if things are updated, that seems to help. Tag EDA, so if you have the tag EDA, that seems to be helpful, so people tend to like EDAs. Comp, not a number, so not in a competition seems to be pretty important. Has forum topic, which I believe is whether or not someone's left a comment. My friend is looking for a change of domain and is currently working on RPA UI path. What options can she take? I'm afraid I don't know what that is. If anyone does, feel free to hop in the chat and let Kieran know. Excuse me. Okay, sorry, that was just a little tangent. I don't think we actually need any of that. So this is really good analysis, but I really just want this kernel for the pre-processing code, because I want to be as lazy as possible. I'm efficient. I'm an efficient worker, and I prefer to reuse code when possible, especially if it is licensed for reuse like this is. And when I say especially, I mean only. All right, and we might use some of these functions, potentially. Get days from registration. Registered rate. So this is how long the user has been on the platform. Okay, so what we are interested in, So the question that I'm asking is, I need to make sure I formulate the question correctly, otherwise the answer I'm going to get is not going to be helpful, is, in the past, was it easier to get upvotes on a kernel? So did an equivalent kernel get more upvotes in the past than it did currently? So my question is, so the information that we have right now is the number of upvotes per kernel. And if, oh wow, they did a whole database schema here. So something that I'm thinking about is, if the only information we have is the number of upvotes per kernel, right? Oh, it's such a long kernel. If the only information is the number of upvotes we have per kernel and the date the kernel was created, and not the date that each upvote was cast, it's going to be difficult for us to disambiguate the effect of a kernel being created at a different time and the fact that kernels that are older have had more time for people to upvote them. So even if the rate of upvotes, so if the rate of upvotes is the same, right, and one kernel starts here and another kernel starts here, is that backwards for you guys? Positive slope. One kernel starts here, one kernel starts here, we are interested in the rate of change of the upvotes over time and not the absolute number of upvotes. Yeah. Oh wow, there's a lot of comments that people asked while I was trying to think the question through. So Ryan said, I think it would be interesting just to see the average number of votes per kernel over time. Yeah. Yeah, so what we could do is we could look at the average number of votes per kernel. So what we could do, so we could do something like this pie chart, probably not as a pie chart, and subset the data based on when the kernel was created, I am probably going to want to do some sort of mixed effect model here where date of creation, So I want to peel apart the effects of date of kernel creation and age of kernel. And the problem is those two are perfectly correlated. Necroduke says, wouldn't there have been fewer users in the past? Yes, there were fewer users, but there were also fewer kernels. So the question is, was the ratio of kernels to users who upvoted more favorable in the past than it is now? Ryan said, we could operate on the assumption that older kernels aren't being viewed a ton. That is... I don't know that that's a good assumption, though, because if you go to... so if you just go to kernels, and then you sort by, say, most votes, which I think is pretty... a pretty common way to do it, you'll see that a lot of these are pretty old. So this is a year old, this is a year old, this is 8 months old. This one's been updated, that's a learn course. 3 months, 1 year, 2 years. So things that have been around for a while. This was updated a month ago, but it's been around for a while. So things that are older have had more time to get more upvotes. So I'm worried that those would, and you see, like, these are all learn courses and they've been around for a while. Oh, sorry. Someone says my English is too fast. I'm a fast talker. I will try to slow down a little bit. Okay. Necroduke says, could it also be important what type of competition the kernel is for? That's true. I think I'm also more interested in kernels that aren't on competitions because, presumably if that gets upvoted, it's due to the sort of interest of the work, and not necessarily, and the approach, and not necessarily because someone else is in the competition. Although I guess competition kernels that get upvoted because they're good kernels as well. The answer to life says, how about some weighting on the votes based on age? So we actually do that for medal awarding, but I don't think that the algorithm for that is public. And Ryan says, I think that's only the very top percent, though. It'd be interesting to see how the number of 0 or negative vote kernels over time. Yeah, I think it would be. So let's start. Sorry, I'm procrastinating on writing Pandas code. It's just different enough from our code that it is a problem for me. All right, so let's add... Nope, that's not it at all. Let's start by quickly checking out what fields are in here. So we've got current kernel version. We've got creation date, so we can use that as one of our variables. We've got total votes. So I want to look at... I'm trying to think of a good way to visualize this. So I want to bin by dates. There's a Pandas feature for that. Pandas binning date time. Yeah. Someone has already asked this. What is the code? Here we go. Bins equals date time, a string. I feel like there's one that will do that more automatically. I guess not. Okay. Cannot use ufunc. All right. And then labels. So let's copy this and see if we can get that working. So the date range is from, I don't know what the earliest date is, but it looks like this might be it. It looks like the data in our database might be in chronological order, because I believe 2015 would have been pretty early in the scripts. So let's say 10 periods. So this is earlier than we have in our database, I'm pretty sure. Taban says, what is the average and least duration taken by a new Kaggler to become a grandmaster? I think there's only like 5 or 6 kernels grandmaster right now, so most infinity is the average duration probably. df.hist creates bins. Yes. It does, but I don't know that it works with date time. Ryan says you can use resample if your index is date time. You can resample the daily or monthly or whenever you want. Okay, monthly might be helpful. Let's try that. Let's try kernels dot. Nope, doesn't like it. Oh, creation date dot resample, and then you said Python resample date time. Let's take a look here. Oh, that's also definitely not how you spell resample. Used for time series data. That's helpful. And most commonly are month-end frequencies, semi-month, quarter. I think monthly is a good chunk for us to use. Okay, and then resample is M. Excellent. M. And then it looks like they're actually, go away. It looks like they're actually doing close. Oh, I see. Okay, so it can tell what the date is, maybe? I don't know. I don't see here where we're saying where it's date. But let's actually do, instead of creation date, let's ask for total votes. And yeah, let's see if this works. That did not work. Okay. Only valid with date time index. Oh, I have to make the index a date time. I see. I need to re-index first. Gotcha. I think somebody actually said that in the chat, and then I was just like, oh, I don't think I need to do that. Python re-index date time. Pandas re-index. Index equals index. Okay, so I can say reindex and then make, okay, gotcha. So let's call this kernel date time equals K-E-R-N-E, there we go. Kernels.reindex, and then we will reindex to creation date. And then I actually want, oh, there we go. Name creation date is not defined. That makes sense because it is actually a column in kernels. All right. Ooh, we have an error. Type greater than is not supported, between instance of float and string. Ankush says Kaggle.head is different from PD.head. No, it should be the same. It's just that PD is it assumes that you have a data frame. Does it not like it? The answer life says I should put it in square brackets. Does it not like it on account of name creation date not defined? Use quotes. Oh, there are definitely quotes there. Thank you. All right. Still getting a problem with the reindexing. Ryan says, I'm not sure you can resample with string columns. Total vote shouldn't be a string, though. It should be an integer. Let's see. Let's check out the, what is it, D type? Or is that a attribute? Yeah. All right. Comments, views, votes. Okay, so those are all floats. Okay, the problem is with the resample step. Yeah, I agree. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the monthly, so we're trying to get for each row the month that it was created. Necroduke says try kernels dot set index creation date. I think that this part is actually okay. I think that the problem is with this part where we're trying to resample. I think the re-index is working. Because if we look at head kernels dt, gosh darn it, sorry, that's the R syntax. If we look at the head, there we go. You can see that creation date is our index and it is a date time. Is it the fact that it's a date time rather than date? Oh hey, that's not right. That's not right. Why are all of these NANs right now? Okay. Necroduke says, my bad. Oh, no worries. No worries. I appreciate the help. Yeah. So, is it because... maybe it is because I am... Maybe it's because I'm trying to re-index and then assign to a new data frame. Somebody said set index, and I think that's actually what Necroduke said. So let's try that. It could be because I didn't have an index previously. So let's try that and see what it looks like now. Okay, so we've got rid of our NANs, but we're still having a problem, and that is the problem with the float and the string. Necroduke says you can try kernels.creation.dt.month. Nico says, I remember not being able to set index on non-unique values. So because it is date time, unless two people made a kernel at the same second, I'm hoping that these will be unique, which is, again, not a great assumption. That's the sort of thing that gets you into trouble as your company scales. Oh, that's a good question. Is it maybe because your index is a string, not actually a datetime type? Yeah, let's check what the D types is. I don't know that that's going to give us the D. I don't know that that's going to give us the D type. of the index, though. Oh, interesting. Creation date is an object? Date times might just also be objects. Because I remember that object is just sort of like what Pandas says, that like, I don't know what it is, but it's an object. Okay. All right, so let's try, because the problem is I don't just want the month, I want it binned by month. Because if I just get the month, then I'm going to compare all the Januaries and all the Februaries and all the Marches, and I don't think that that is super helpful. Okay. Should we just change the date time to the Unix timestamp? And people are saying it should be date time. So maybe I need to make sure that it is actually a date time. Ooh. All right. So kernels dot creation date dot Is it as date time? Nope. So I'm going to try converting it to date time and see if that works. Pandas. Nope. Convert to date time Python. She says, I just feel like Rachel doesn't like pandas. I love the animals. I'm less delighted by the library. Oh, folks are saying to date time. So let's try that. So it's pd dot to date time. All right. So that seems helpful. Actually, we might be able to do this inside here. Oh God, this line is getting so long. Let's see if that works. Oh, it's thanking. All right, that's taking a while to run. That's a good sign. All right. Nick G says, I think you can use in place equals true. So I think I might have asked it to print out the whole thing. And in retrospect, that might have been, as they say, a mistake. So let's cancel this and then try from the beginning. So now it won't try to print out everything, because that usually makes Jupyter hang, just in general. All right. So that should give us, if it ever finishes, so that should give us, I'm not actually sure what resample gives us. That's something Ryan suggested. I'm assuming that's going to give us like the per month over time, the number of total votes. Oh, you know what? It's probably taking a while. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so now if we check out the type of kernels DT, we should have, I don't know what we're going to have. Oh, yeah. First I should spell it right. Data frame. Is it not D-type? It's not. It's D-types. All right, so index is still not included in this, and I don't know why I thought it would be now. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, did I delete the wrong cell? I did. All right. Did I happen to... Nope, I didn't. All right. So I have made a difficulty for myself. Parisa says when you import read CSV, set arguments parse date equals true. I actually will do that. It is probably going to take longer to read in the file, but I'm going to do that right now real quick just to save ourselves some trouble. Well, I try to remember what we were doing here. So kernels DT is what we called it, and we set index, and we set index to kernels, and it was called creation date, if I remember correctly. Except creation date might have been lowercase, and I believe that it was in here somewhere. Pretty sure we set it somewhere. All right, let's see if this works. Then we have a problem that it's not supported between instance of float and string. So we reread in the file asking it to parse dates. Kernels.dtypes, and it did not do that. So it's still not a date. So let's say that kernels dot, nope, creation date, and let's say that it is pd.toDateTime. I'm remembering all of these things now. Kernels creation date. All right. So that's going to take a minute. So this is going through and parsing the dates in the creation date column, which is actually a date time already, so it shouldn't take too long, although it does have to try a bunch of different formats and disambiguate it. Oh, and Nico has said that. Yeah. High five. Okay. If I was doing this in R, I'd be done already. I'm just faster in R, and that's just where I am right now. All right. So once that's done, 50 years from now, we will see what we get out of this. So, high five. So, Nectarine says, you're just fast R. Yeah, it's true. Now that we have actual dates, okay, we get the same error message that we got before. Resampler has no object head. All right, I'll just print me the whole thing. All right, that was a date index resampler, datetime index resampler, which is not. Oh, that's right. You need to ask for something. Let's ask for. Is min not an art? Is that not a built-in in Python? Python minimum. No, it definitely is. Nice. Okay. I think we can do this now. So let's do the mean. Yes, nice. And then let's plot that. If this was R, I could just do plot. I don't think that's going to work. It worked. Okay. It worked. I'm pleased to see that. So this is the mean, which we know is going to be a little bit skewed. And there's like a really big spike actually right around the time that I was hired. So I'm going to take complete credit for that. That's definitely the Rachael spike. Also, I know I rag on Python, but that was very intuitive and it did work. So 10 out of 10. And then if we were looking at median, which I think is, median, which is probably a slightly better thing. It looks like there was a short period of time when it was 1 and then it wasn't anymore. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Okay. But what I really want to know is I want to have sort of some idea of range. So I'm wondering if I can get quantiles. Is that a thing that you can get in Python? sorry, quartiles. Quantile. Okay, yeah, no, it definitely is. So let's see if we can just get that. Quantile. I don't think it's going to know what to do with it. Okay, has no attribute. Pandas.qcut. Quantile-based discretization function discretize variable in equal size buckets based on rank. So it might not work because it's a pandas. Let's see. Qcut. And I believe that's a function. Okay, that did not work. Has no attribute qcut. Okay. Nico says use dot describe. My problem might be that it's not. Okay. So it's not that it won't work, it's that it's not going to work with the resample before. Maybe I need to give it more. No, giving it more information won't work because datetime index resampler doesn't recognize it. So maybe there's a limited number of things that datetime index resampler will recognize. So if I want to go to resampler, how do I do that? Aha, this is actually exactly what I wanted. Okay. Excellent. Fantastic. So if I want to do multiple things, so I want min mean max series by group. Oh, that's probably because it's median. Yeah. All right. Okay, that's not too bad. So yeah, it's not a data frame object. I'm guessing it's like a series maybe, or an index something. I'm gonna admit my grasp of the rich ecosystem of Python objects is data structures is a little bit shaky. I'm pretty good at dictionaries at this point. I get how dictionaries work. I'm pretty good at like hash tables, but like the series and the indexers and things that smell like pointers, I'm just like, I don't know about that. Okay, it's a series group by object. That sounds reasonable. So is there any function? Can I ask for qcut here? Is that gonna work? I'm guessing that it's not. I'm guessing that there's a set. Yeah, no, don't. I'm guessing that there's a set of functions that it will accept. Pandas first quartile. Is there a specific function that will give me the first quantile? Function returns value at any quantile. Looks like describe isn't gonna work. Basically, I want to be able to percentile, data min, data max. Okay, I've already gotten those. Q1 quartiles 0. Maybe it'll only return one value at a time. Maybe that will work. Let's see if this will work. I don't think it will, but maybe. I think the reason it's not working is because this is not in the limited set of functions that it accepts, and not because my syntax is wrong. Yeah. Nico says, I think you have to use numpy if you want .ag. Okay. Numpy quartiles. Okay, let's see this. Percentile. And then, so let's see if percentile, and then 25 works? It does not. Series group by object has no attribute percentile 25. What about just percentile? That's probably not going to work. It needs a second argument. That's definitely going to give me an error. Yeah, okay. So it looks like there might not be an easy way for me to get the IQR here. But I guess like these four together is kind of enough. And plot, is that going to work? Hey, it worked. I usually use numpy.mean, but never use numpy quartile. Because the mean, I guess the problem here is that it's such a skewed distribution that it's not super helpful. Kumar says, I guess we may have to take this resample objects and do numpy percentile. The answer live says try np.percentile. Oh, that's a good point. Let's try that. Okay, good. I was just checking that I had it imported. I know that it has to be passed in as a... All right, here goes nothing. No. Okay, that's okay. I think I can live with this. The one thing that I do want to do is take the log of everything. I don't know if this is going to work. Except the minimum. All right, that's not going to work. Is there any way to log scale this plot really easily? Probably not, huh? So I might do this and then take the log scale and plot it. That might be helpful. She says it won't work. Yeah, I'm guessing that there's a pretty small number of things that they thought you might want to resample on, and they're just built in, and if I wanted more, I would have to add them. Well, okay, I'm just not going to spend too much time on this. Let me actually get rid of max here. I think that max is not super helpful because it is such a skewed distribution. And I also think that plot is not min isn't actually all of that helpful because, again, the distribution is pretty skewed. So if we look at just the median and the mean, we can see, again, this is telling us that it's very skewed, and that most kernels get no votes, and that's sort of always been true. Ryan says, also it doesn't work because you're doing everything inside of strings. It doesn't know what the np.percentile means. I'm assuming at some point those strings are parsed, based on my sort of limited understanding of the Python AST, but I could be wrong. But we do have an answer to our question, which is that, and again, there's quite a bit of skew, but it does look like 3 years ago, it was a lot harder to get votes. And then there was a little spike, sort of mid 2017 to early 2018, where more kernels got votes. And there was actually a point where the median was 1 vote. So, half of kernels were getting more than 1 vote, and then it went back to 0. And now there's sort of a little slump that maybe will improve. And this month, of course, it's the 17th. So this little trail here is just because the month isn't done. Yeah. Necroduke says voting bots. My think is actually that I'm trying to remember when it was. So I ran an event on sort of like getting people introduced to kernels and I don't remember what it was, but when that event happened, and this was a while ago, it wasn't as popular as some of the more recent events I did, and I had enough time to like go through and upvote everybody's kernel and like leave everybody comments. And I do not have time to do that anymore, unfortunately, although I do try to look at people's work and leave them comments. And my guess is that this little median section here might be just me upvoting a lot of people, potentially. Hard to say. Yeah, Ryan says try a daily resample. Oh, that's a really good point. My guess is that, yeah, there was definitely a spike around here, and then sort of it went down. So it looks like it's a little bit harder now than it was, 2 years ago at this time, but it's easier than it was 3 years ago at this time to get votes. So kind of interesting. Test for Now says Google acquiring Kaggle. That would have been in March, so it would have been more like here-ish was the acquisition. And then I came in June or July of 2017 because I just finished my PhD. So it would have been here-ish. I'm not saying it was me. I'm humorously taking credit, but I don't actually think it was all me. Yeah, and we launched private kernels. I don't remember when we did that, but you could work privately and not share your work, and I don't remember when that was exactly. But presumably after we did that, the mean would have gone up because the kernels that people were sharing would have been higher quality, and if it was just you futzing around, you would have kept it private. It was me, Nico says. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, interesting. So I guess people who said it was easier before, and people who said it was harder before were both right. Yeah, this is a really interesting trend. I might have to go back and poke around. Kumar says, congrats on getting your PhD. Thank you. It was a long process, but I'm glad I did it in retrospect. And let me actually just delete all of these things and then make it public. Delete. So you guys can poke around with this if you are interested. And I'm going to go back and also... Oh my gosh, this is such a long kernel. I think I'm going to also add... Okay. So here is daily. And let's also do just for fun weekly. And then also monthly, and then also yearly. Listen, I like messing with axes. It's fun. Yeah, so it looks like the best year was 2018. 2019 is a little bit rougher so far, but yeah. Oh, wow, it has been an hour. Nico says, what kernel got 140 plus votes? A lot of them did, actually. And Kumar says, what was your PhD thesis? My PhD was on hide input, hide output, hide input, hide output, and collapse it. My PhD was on perceptual dialect adaptation, so humans' ability to understand new dialects in a language they already know, and then modeling that using machine learning and showing that you can make mistakes in a human-like way if you use features that humans use. That was basically the whole thing. And Ryan says 2019 hasn't had enough time to gather votes. That's true, but even if you look at it weekly, it looks like... and even if you ignore this last month, it looks like the trend is that 2018 was a little bit better, which we should work on. Yeah, I feel like we should be getting more votes over time. I don't necessarily think that the mean should be going up. Should the mean be going up? I don't actually have a strong opinion on that. I think that the mean can fluctuate depending on what people are sharing. But I think that the total should definitely be going up. So yeah, actually, let's quickly just check out, just for me, just because I know we're sort of a little bit over time, but just for me, because I'm curious, let's see what the sum is. Whoop. I feel like the sum should definitely be going up. Also, that's a function, Rachel. There we go. Okay, yeah, so it looks like the sum is going up, and there's obviously some wiggles, and the big troughs tend to be school breaks. Yeah, so that I'm happy with. I don't know that the mean should necessarily be going up, but if people are sharing a lot of high quality work, then I would expect it to be. So anyway. Ryan says, but 2018 kernels have had +1 years to gather votes, and 2019 kernels have had only a few months. True, that's that thing I was talking about earlier where we can't pull them apart. Nakuduk says, maybe Kaggle users were getting data science jobs, so less time spent on Kaggle. I'm trying to say Kaggle is a gold mine. No, I definitely agree. And something I hear a lot from my friends who are in data science is that they find Kaggle useful for finding code examples, and that it can be sometimes hard to search for those. So we are working on improving search so that you can find code more easily, because it is, it's a good resource. Kumar says, I'm seeing much difference between mean and median here. Is that normal? For something like this, like a voting system, I think it's extremely normal. So it's a very skewed distribution, right? And any sort of social behavior where you have things that are more central and popular, and those things tend to get more popular over time, you will see a super skewed distribution. So like number of Twitter followers, YouTube comments per video, any sort of social media online thing you expect to have a really skewed distribution like this. So the mean and the median being different just shows us that that's the case, and I'm not surprised in this example. If you have something that you don't expect to be skewed and you do see a very strong difference between mean and median, then that's something to look into. Nektuk says Kaggle is the SO for data science. Yeah, hopefully, and maybe someday the GitHub. Who knows? All right, I've gone a little bit over. Thanks for joining, guys. This was really helpful. Thank you for helping me with Pandas, which is not my not always my favorite. Oh, and let me really quickly make this public. Oop, nope, that's not what I wanted. And I'm gonna add my other account as well, so I can edit this while I'm at work if I need to. Whoop. And the only reason I have 2 accounts is because one of them is an admin account, and I don't want to do demos on my admin account. But if you're entering competitions, 1 account, we know. We got ways. Okay, so this should be public. You guys can check it out if you are interested. And you won't see this once it finishes running. And I will see you guys on next Wednesday. And we've got, on Monday, we've got a new coffee chat coming out. And if you haven't seen the Kaggle Days videos from San Francisco are up on the channel. So you can spend some time checking those out. And I'll be back Wednesday at 9 a.m. Paul says, everything that has a different order of magnitude has this property. By the way, nice t-shirt, Rachel. Oh, thank you. I'm wearing the Kaggle Days t-shirt from San Francisco Kaggle Days. Paul says, yesterday we had the 1 year Kaggle Days 1 year anniversary. Happy birthday. I don't have like a cake or a noisemaker, but imagine a cake and a noisemaker. All right, thank you for joining, everybody. It was a lot of fun. I certainly learned some things, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.